Tuesday. It's a good day of the week. Talk superheroes. I'm James, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of superhero talk. We got your email questions to come up and a few topics that we really like. Joining me today is, on top right now is Andrew Fantasia. Right below me now is Scotty Hawk from Hawk's Holocron. And we got the casual pop fan, Steve. Everyone just kind of went wacko when that changed. But thanks, guys, for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
And thank all of you for joining us as well. We're going to have a lot of fun. The way this show works, it kind of just says we go through a bunch of email questions that we have. Then we pick some topics, and we just talk superheroes for a little while. Before we get into the day, though, all four of us have had a chance to see Morbius. I did a review on the channel. Steve, I saw it with you. Scotty, you've seen it twice, I believe, because you want to give you're like Jared Leto's hitting hard times. You really got to support him. So you've seen him twice now. But we're going to go, Andrew, Steve, and Scotty will go in that order. Just a quick little 5-second, 20-second review of Morbius.
Starting with me, okay. Perfectly okay, fine movie. Feels like early 2000s. I'm fine with it. It's okay. I'd love to know about the behind the scenes. Where's that book?
Yeah, not as bad as advertised. Wasn't a whole lot of fun, but it was what it was. And I agree with Andrew. It was perfectly passable as what it was. I don't know how else to describe that.
Yeah, I agree with the current audience scores. If we're going Rotten Tomatoes, because that's the whole the big controversy nowadays. But the critic score is brutal, in my opinion. The movie, I feel like, stands out as a good introduction for the character. At the very least, it's a standalone story for him.
Were the critics unnecessarily harsh on it? Like, I can't watch that movie. I can't figure out what was so offensive to them.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. Scotty, you might jump through the screen and punch me if you want, but it's not. I think I made it pretty clear that I enjoyed that movie, but it's not a great movie. I think and because of the 2-year delay, I think it made it easy. And then the one thing I noticed, people are really, really clear. Spoilers if you haven't seen Morbius, I guess. I don't know if we're going to talk about spoilers, but the one thing people are clinging to, beyond all reason, is the end credit scenes. Two scenes that are terrible. Don't get me wrong, I didn't like the Sky. I don't know how you feel, because you kind of going into you had a different feeling on it than I did. I don't think they were executed. I thought the idea of them was bad, and I thought the execution was worse. But that didn't ruin the movie for me, because they're just mid-credit scenes, and I was like, whatever, I see what you're doing. But it didn't take away from the movie that I watched before it. But a lot of people are really clinging on that, and I think a lot of critics now are just YouTubers like us who just kind of I'm going to make a review. And, you want to be the snobby kid who hates Morbius. Those end credit scenes are the last things you got in your mouth, the taste in your mouth. It's easy to walk away giving this thing a negative review.
Yeah, I don't understand why changes were made, especially with Vulture character, or who made them. Apparently the director didn't even have a part in some of the stuff that went on. But the biggest thing to me about one of them was when he's brought into the jail cell. When Venom did that, it was in the Venom universe, and it was clear to us in No Way Home that he was in that universe. It was confirmed, he got pulled in and sent back. Why they didn't deliver that scene harder for this Vulture character, have him have a conversation with a cellmate, or show him even in the Marvel side being pulled in. If it's a real partnership and, they're trying to do Sinister Six crossover stuff and continue the Marvel Spider-Man relationship, nothing about this makes sense to me. And my biggest thing is I'm not blaming Sony for it all. I just personally can't blame Sony for all of this.
I want to jump into the chat for a second. Andrew, I'm going to throw you this question first, put you on the spot. But Andy Handy, thanks, Andy Handy. Did Disney influence Sony to delete all the Spidey references from the Morbius theatrical cut? And Scotty just kind of mentioned this a little while ago, where the director came out and he said that he didn't even put that Spider-Man shot that's in that trailer in the movie. He said, I don't know, that wasn't me. So do you think there's a chance that Disney had any influence on the decision to remove all the Spider-Man references?
Well, if they did a pretty piss poor job of it, because that credit scene is literally purple sky from No Way Home. So, like, why are you keeping stuff and not keeping other stuff? It's bizarre, man. Those scenes are. I'm glad that you told me them ahead of time, James, because I'm glad I could kind of psych myself up to know that's what we're getting, and it's probably going to be lame. And it actually helped because I could just focus on Morbius, the movie itself, the story itself. So knowing the scenes ahead of time with the post credits was a big plus for me.
The one thing it did really well, Steve, we were talking about this after the movie at some point, was we were all going into like, what universe is it in? And the movie doesn't care. It just, it doesn't, like, that was the one good thing about it. Well, one of the good things about it was it doesn't focus on, oh, this multiverse or that universe or what. It was just like, here's the story of Michael Morbius. If you like it or not, that's one thing. But I was happy with that, Steve.
Definitely simplified things, made it a lot easier for the movie and for Michael Morbius character to kind of get over with the audience when he's not boggled down with the whole multiverse thing. And then they just washed it all away with those end credit scenes.
Those were just the decisions that were made. I will say, I think I mentioned this. I kind of like the Vulture's new mask, but it still was the dumbest thing. I think it made, like, the amount of sense it made was somebody had to green like that, and I can't get over the fact that somebody's making a lot of money and they said that's a great idea. It blows my mind. And was that okay? We're going to move on, but before we move on, though, was that Michael Keaton in the sound booth in like New York, bored out of his mind reading those lines? Because he was phenomenal in Homecoming, and then when I watched that, I'm like, he sounds like maybe it was someone doing an impression of Michael Keaton, because he just seemed
the video game
so
actor,
bored.
Just the robot.
They did the Luke Skywalker Mandalorian synthesized voice thing for Michael Keaton. There's just like no emotion there.
It's like if Judd Apatow were to make like a movie that was to make fun of the whole cinematic universe trend, I feel like that movie would have scenes exactly like those two post-credit scenes in them.
I'm questioning the relationship myself. I think, like, I'm just confused. I don't think that it's going to be as connected with the MCU as we think, and that like Vulture coming back is Vulture staying, you know. It's just so crazy to me. If I was Sony, honestly, I would step back, like step way back, do your Spider-Verse stuff, do your Madam Web, do your Spider-Woman. Like, it's weird, man. And if, like, I don't think Disney could influence them to remove those things unless it was part of the plan going forward. So them being removed by Sony is like Sony being like, all right, man, that's it. You did your shot for your hints at Sinister Six, but now it's like, where do we go forward? When does Tom Holland come back up in the MCU? Are they really going to do the Andrew Garfield stuff? And they're just waiting for an announcement, and that's why they pulled all the Spider-Man hints. Like, it's got to be something big, because Sony's in deep water and they're being made to look bad. It just is weird to me.
Do you think we'll get clarification on that in the next little while, depending on how Morbius does?
The director said, I think we're going to find that out very soon, didn't he? He hinted at that.
Yeah, he did. And I think Sony's so far deep into their universe now that they could pull the Dark Universe and just scrap it in the middle of Kraven, I suppose. But like, they've got Kraven shooting right now. They've been casting for Madam Web, and I'm sure the two actresses that they got signed on and whoever else, I'm sure they're probably not, their agents weren't dumb. They might have signed like pay-to-play deals or something like that. So they might be in on it. It's pay-to-play. But for me, I think the biggest mistake in those end credit scenes was Michael Keaton, adding Michael Keaton's Vulture to those. If that was because the thing, I was thinking about this, Iron Man worked so well with the same post-credit scene. Essentially, it's the same post-credit scene in Iron Man with Nick Fury and Tony Stark, right? It's the same idea is what I'm saying. Like, he's like, I gotta start a team. We're starting a team. And like, the difference was we followed Tony Stark, and then there was a mysterious figure who had no connection to anything showed up at the end and brought them together. Now, comic book fans knew who it was and blah, blah, blah. But this one, it was, we all know who the Vulture is. And they changed the Vulture's character completely. They brought him into a universe that made absolutely no sense how they did so. So there was a lot of issues with that. I think they could have just made it Craven or someone be like, hey, putting together this team. And then we're not going to be asking why would he want to put together a team. I also think adding Spider-Man to that line of dialogue was one of the most forced things ever, because Spider-Man, for all we know, in Morbius doesn't exist in Morbius's universe. He's like, for all we've seen in Morbius and Venom, aside from the post-credit scene in Venom, Let There Be Carnage, there's no Spider-Man. There's a Daily Bugle, but there's no Spider-Man. We haven't seen Spider-Man. No one's argued about him.
Well, the seeds are there.
The seeds are there, right? But would Morbius know who Spider-Man is?
I don't think so.
That's what I mean.
Well, that's why he says he's intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
there's no confirmation that Venom knows who he is either. But yeah, Venom, yeah, it's weird, man.
Sony's been after this Sinister Six since forever. Like, they've done this with Spider-Man, Raimi's Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they're like, we're going to put in everyone, because they feel like they've always needed to do this. And it's like, just let it happen. Like, right now, I think with the box office for Morbius and the 2 Venom films, we're good. Like, we're going to go see your movies. Just bring us to the Sinister Six. Don't bring them to us. Like, lead the horse to water. We're gonna go. We're there. All 4 of us saw Morbius this weekend. So we all went to go see it. It was 16% when Steve and I went. There was 5 of us in the theater, but people went to go see it. It made more than Birds of Prey's opening weekend. Like, Sony, we're good. You got us. Don't force the Sinister Six. Just make it happen.
Dude, I think it is Andrew Garfield's universe. And
yeah, it probably is.
You know what's crazy about that is when the Vulture, who's trying to take revenge on the Spider-Man, finds out that in the No Way Home events, Andrew Garfield saved his daughter's life.
Huh.
Who's his daughter?
MJ.
Liz?
No.
MJ from So Zendaya is not Adrian Toome's daughter?
No, that was his daughter.
It was Liz.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's been a while since I saw the Spider-Man movie.
Peter got all kind of action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bounced around in that first movie. Got you. But yeah, like it's weird. It's all weird. I don't like it.
It is. Let's move. Okay,
It feels like sabotage. I have a lot of thoughts on Twitter. I went in on Twitter. It was bad. I'm not deleting them.
There's a different cut of this movie out there if they released this 2 years ago, we would have seen a different movie 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because 5 months ago we would have seen.
Yeah,
the trailer that dropped 5 months ago was
before it was delayed and then chopped to pieces.
Yeah.
Why does this always happen to Jared Leto also?
Because he's a method actor.
Yeah.
There's payback for his 45-minute long bathroom breaks. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he was in character breaks in the bathroom, so he had to use canes to get there, and he couldn't walk.
Sending all the animal carcasses to his castmates.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Karma. Let's go to our first email question, because it's good. We're sticking with Morbius. Hi James, I saw Morbius and I agree it's fine. I don't know why everyone is bashing it so much. Anyway, I was wondering if you thought Sony may push for a Venom versus Morbius in the future. Thanks, Phil P. Got this email the other day. Thought it'd be fun. Tried to do this video yesterday, but we didn't have a chance to do it. Thank you, Phil P, for this question. I mean, they're shoehorning in the Sinister Six. They really want it. I got to be honest with you guys, though. It never occurred to me that Morbius would be versus Venom at any point. But then I was like, you know what, though? I think that would make more sense than a Sinister Six at this point, because the one thing we know is Venom and Morbius are in the same universe, and they both did very well. People love Venom. People are going to see Morbius, and Kong versus Godzilla did really well. So why not make it happen? But Phil, I don't think that is going to be the case. Andrew, what do you think?
Oh, Venom versus I mean, I don't want that as a movie. Like, no thanks. I think we'll see Venom versus Morbius in the same way that we saw, Iron Man versus Star-Lord for like 40 seconds in Infinity War. I think something like that will happen. They'll fight for a bit because these guys are angry fellows and they like to fight. And then somebody will calm the situation, clear the air, and they'll deal with whatever the real threat is. It's a very comic booky thing to do.
Yeah, it feels very forced to put those two characters together in a movie. It doesn't need to happen.
Dude, it's always forced. First about Morbius for me is like it was a copycat of Venom, because you have basically Morbius and the Milo character, who are basically Venom and Carnage. They share powers. They share their motives are just opposite of one another. And the fact that he wasn't Hunger, like an actual Marvel villain, and then being able to carry on later and they just kill him in one movie, it's like, I don't think we'll see Morbius, if at all, again until we get their established Sinister Six movie, or they at least try to establish their Spider-Man somehow first.
Yeah, my thing with Morbius, like they're putting together the Sinister Six. We know the seeds are there. The Craven's coming, Madam Web's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But Venom and Morbius, they've established them as like they're not villains. I don't know how you make that a Sinister Six. And even they butchered Vulture, but Vulture's not really even that kind of a villain either. And at the end of Homecoming, he's like, "Nah, I'm not interested in that." Like, yeah, or he doesn't reveal who Peter Parker is, right? And now I guess you would not know anyway. But it's, I don't know. It's, I don't know. This whole thing is strange to me. I think Venom versus Morbius makes more sense on every level than Sinister Six at this point. And I mean that based solely on the fact that we've gotten 3 Sony movies and they've been Venom and Morbius. And those two would make more sense than shoehorning everybody else in. And Morbius, you know, he mentions Venom in it. I don't know what, but the versus part is strange. Like, I don't know how you get.
I think didn't the director confirm that it is in the Venom
universe? They're in the same
so,
universe.
I mean, it really depends on how Venom feels, because if Venom's going to be the anti-hero and end up trying to like not defeat Spider-Man, you could see a Venom team up with Spider-Man against the Sinister Six in the Sony universe.
They could also spin it, because in the end of Let There Be Carnage, Spider-Man's on the TV. They go to a different universe, whatever.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man's on the TV, and he says, "I hate that guy." So you could even have Venom versus Spider-Man join the Sinister Six, go after Spider-Man, but then when the Sinister Six ain't so good, reverse it. Then they could be the Fantabulous Five, and then Spider-Man and Venom could hook up. And
then there's their Lethal Protector storyline for Tom Hardy in the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
And that would complete his arc as Venom.
There you go. And then
that'd be cool, man. They'll never do it, but hey. The fans always write better theories, dude. Star Wars too, same thing. Like, we always come up with the most mind-blowing stuff, and then we're like, they'll never do it. Whatever. Moving on.
No, they can't do it. They got to think practically. Well, that's what we are. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below or to the side. Do you think we're going to get a Venom versus Morbius? I just don't see that playing out so well. It just.
I think Morbius.
I think it would be fun. Yeah, I think it'd be fun, but Morbius, release the extended cut of Morbius, or the 2020 cut of Morbius. That needs to be the hashtag going on. All right, our next email question. James, I watched Campia today, and he said he heard from a source that they are thinking of replacing Ezra Miller in The Flash. Thoughts, Matt E.? I just got this one today. This was like a last-minute addition to the show. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to see or to hear what was mentioned. So he's talking about the John Campia show on YouTube. I had to look at the rewatch of it. And apparently what happened was John Campia reached out to sources that he had over at WB, and he didn't expect to hear much from them. And they got back to him, and they said that they are discussing their options in regards to Ezra Miller. Now he couldn't say if it was in terms of him getting canned or not, or replaced, because they're so far along. This movie is done. It's coming out. So Andrew, you up first. Ezra Miller, where do you think Warner Brothers is at on this one?
Oh God, what a mess. I mean, I think that answer says it all. I don't know who Campia's source is, but the super corporate say a bunch of stuff without saying anything at all response would have been something along the lines of, "We are so proud of Ezra and our Flash product, and we can't wait for fans to see our Flash product. Please consume." And I think that if they had no plans to replace him, they would have went with that. They would have said, no, our Flash product is great. You will love it. Spend it. But the fact that their answer was, we're weighing our options, might be a way of saying without full-on saying and perhaps breaking some kind of legality issue. Yeah, there are talks happening. I just can't say anything else. So it sounds like we might be heading down that road. What does it mean for this movie, which is, like you say, almost done? Who knows? I think recasting is fine. I mean, hell, we've had 7 Batman. Why can't we have 2 Flashes? So go for it if you need to, because clearly this guy's a loose cannon, and you probably want Flash to stick around because Flash is an important character. So get somebody that's not going to stir up shit in Hawaii.
Yeah, they got a real problem with the Flash right now because the movie's done, and he's 2 characters, at least 2 characters in the movie, possibly a 3rd character in the movie as well. Mm-hmm. So this is troublesome and a lot. They can't just go in and face swap him, which is what I think. I think just deep fake him out of that movie or something. That's what they need. So they need to, but then you have to do it twice, and if you reshoot it, it gets delayed probably even a lot more if you do that. I mean, there's been a lot of reshoots going on, but they've all been like Kevin Spacey minor roles and stuff like that. So I don't know how you get around the Flash. For me, I think you got to get him into rehab, get him to clean up a little bit, and then when the movie comes out, he can be like, I'm born again. I'm a good guy. I've learned my lesson. Steve, what do you think? I mean, I know you're very excited for the Flash movie. First of all, do you think the Flash will exist?
I don't have a ticket yet. No, I think it's a real tricky situation and almost a precedent-setting situation. I can't recall any movie that has had that kind of a dilemma, but they also have, thanks to all the delays, they have time to figure out a course of action, whether it be to outright replace him and do reshoots, or, like you said, put him into rehab, bring him back out with a try and go for a better public relations image. I don't know. It's 50-50. Toss a coin. I'm curious. What are the other movies he's in? He's coming out into the new Fantastic Beasts movie. So I'm assuming you're just not going to see him promoting that at all, and they're going to distance themselves from that. But he wasn't the main cog in that movie, whereas Flash, he is the Flash. He is the center point of it. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one.
Actually, you brought up a good point. They mentioned this on the John Campea show today in that segment. He mentions that Death on the Nile had a situation as well with Armie Hammer, and they kind of just let that movie come out and didn't do too much. And Armie Hammer, I think, is in like, of all the trailers I've seen for it, he's in like 1 or 2 shots. I forgot he was in it till they mentioned it today, and I've seen people talking about Death of the Nile. So it is, this has happened before. I don't know how big of a role he has in that movie because I haven't seen it yet. But Scotty, what do you think?
Does that have as much attention as the Flash has? Because the Flash is everybody's looking for the Flash.
Nothing will ever have as much attention as the Flash because it's been supposed to be coming out for the last 77 years or something like that. Like Ezra Miller signed on to this film when he was baby Flash. Now he's growing up with it. Scotty, what do you think? Are we ever getting this Flash movie?
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, that Flash movie's done, but man, all right, here's the $1 billion idea. Okay, Warner Brothers, you gotta listen to the fans now. All right, you're gonna go and watch the first episode of The Boys. Okay, first episode of The Boys, and then you're gonna film a scene with Grant Gustin, and he's gonna come into the universe, and he's just gonna run through Ezra Miller like A-Train, and he's just gonna vaporize, and then you're gonna be like, okay, I guess he's the Flash now, and then just Grant Gustin. They have a replacement. It's in universe. They've already met in person. Like,
I'm an Arrowverse fan, so I endorse that. That'd be great.
I think you walk as far away from Ezra Miller as possible. Yeah. You've done it to other actors for much less.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. This is an image problem that Warner Brothers already has. Cut him off.
And what you just said is true too. They've done it to actors for much less, or people for much less, and now you got Ezra Miller doing stuff, caught doing stuff, and they're like,
dude, he threatened people's lives. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, no, it's like I think he needs to get help. That's step one. So maybe this is what they're gearing towards, and maybe it's a private matter also. and sometimes you don't go public. Maybe they don't want to go public with it. I don't know.
Mhm.
But they've got this is a conundrum on their
It's an
hands right now.
entitlement. It's an entitlement thing too, man. He's getting away with things normal people wouldn't get away with.
Well, I mean, Will Smith just lost 2 movies or something for slapping Chris Rock and Ezra Miller, accosted people singing karaoke. I mean, that's a different conversation anyway. But for me, I think, the Flash movie's done. It's coming and going. But the Grant Gustin thing is what people really want. So that means it's never going to happen because
people are really hyped on him.
But
I think that's a viable option.
Right. It is, and that's why it's not going to happen. They're going to end up getting somebody nobody wants and is terrible, and they're going to reboot it in a year. You know
what is something I'm going to stop saying too is let's just wait for the merger. Let's just wait for the merger. I'm done. I'm not saying it anymore, man. You guys prove to me now that you can do something, and I'll get back on board.
Grant Gustin makes the most sense. He met Ezra Miller in the Crisis on TV event, so just. I don't know.
Do a crisis event in a movie, and then
that's where they're aiming towards that, but that's a few years down the road still because they got to get to that. It's going to take a little while. I think you got to get there, but you got to get rid of Ezra Miller before you get there, and you can't get rid of him in this Flash movie.
I mean, honestly, they have a lot of one and done. They have a lot of one and done Justice League type storylines. They could easily not return to the Flash again until they do a Snyderverse type of whatever.
Yeah.
That could be way down the line.
Well, I mean, we haven't got the Flash anyway, so who cares?
Right.
It's not like we never got this movie either. We're just gonna shelve it and we'll all forget about it.
Imagine.
No, I think you. I think they added. I think what you do is you get rid of them. You announce it sometime before or after the movie. You replace him in the movie without telling anyone. Then the movie ends, and you reshoot an ending where a different actor is playing the Flash. And that's how you just move along from it. You don't tell me who's playing the Flash, if it's Grant Gustin or Johnny Depp. You don't tell me. You just kind of have it happen in the movie. And then the movie ends like, they moved on from Ezra Miller, and now we got that.
It's already got 2 Batman in it, right? It's not like it's going to be weird in that movie to see that. And hey, if Grant Gustin wants to bring Felicity Smoke along with him, I am all on board.
Dude, what if this is like 1,000 IQ play from Ezra Miller and he knows this movie's not going to be good? What if he's just like, all right, I got to get out of this contract, and he's breaching it somehow?
He's like, look, man, Ezra Miller, he's got 2 Fantastic Beasts. Think what you want about any of it. He's got 2 massive franchises beneath him that he's Fantastic. They're not going to just stop making Fantastic Beasts movies unless this one makes $17. They're not going to stop. So he's got money. He's got at least 3 more of these movies coming up, and then he's got however many more Flash movies. He might have just pissed away a lot of money and a lot of work, and that's very unfortunate. But I don't know what to say. All right, you guys want to move on to our next topic?
Yeah,
please.
Or Steve, did you want to say something about Grant Gustin being the Flash? Do it. All right. Our next topic.
Do it. Go, man. Arrowverse. Yes, you're a fan, right?
I don't know what he's referring to. I'm before it. I'm a huge Arrowverse fan. I love the Arrowverse. So
you watched you watched all of Arrowverse, but not Flash?
Yeah.
Dude, actually, the first couple seasons of Flash is good.
Oh no! Sorry, no. I've watched all the Flash. I'm all in on the Flash. The only ones in the Arrowverse I haven't watched are the Supergirl. Do
you guys have a favorite character from the Flash show? You guys all watch the Flash?
From the show, my favorite character is probably Joe West.
Emma Frost for me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
she's cool. I'm debating. You know what? I didn't like Cisco at first. Cisco I hated in the first season, but by the end of his run, he won me over, and I was a big Cisco
evil Cisco.
So I'll go Cisco.
All right. Anyway,
how about you,
I didn't mean to. There's my email question.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. I'm switching up the rundown a little bit because we have a picture for this one. I like to do pictures.
Ooh, pictures.
My favorite movie of 2022 has wrapped filming. This is Batgirl. This is from the wrap party. She showed up in character. Guys, look, I think this is going to be a good movie. I don't want to hear it from anybody. but I'm excited for Batgirl. Batgirl has wrapped filming, but I do want to talk a little bit about it because of the delays with the Flash and Michael Keaton's Batman, and that is the Batman in Batgirl. And we've seen Michael Keaton arrive in Glasgow, and we've seen his stunt double in costume. How does this going to fit in, Andrew? Is this Flash movie take place after the events of, or does this Batgirl movie take place after the events of the Flash, or is this going to be our introduction into the universe in which the Flash is going to take us to or introduce us to?
I was always under the assumption that this was going to be after Flash, because something as big as meeting Keaton again felt like a movie theater thing, not an HBO Max thing. But now, who knows? Like now, when I say who knows, I'm literally including the Warner Brothers CEO, because they don't either. So it's the Keaton of it all is something that I'm just putting aside because it's too much of an X factor right now. The same way the Spider-Man of it all was mucking up my ideas of Morbius, and I had to just stand aside and just look at Michael Morbius, the man. So I'm doing the same thing here. I'm just looking at Batgirl herself, and I know I must have said this before, but just the fact that she's got purple and yellow on her costume is making me so happy. Like that alone, I'm like, I'm there opening day, turning on the movie on HBO Max, and I'm watching it. It's just a wonderful character to add to this, and the fact that it's part of the not Snyderverse, but part of the verse where J.K. Simmons is Gordon is nice because we haven't been there in a while. So let's step back there. So that's what's making me excited.
It's
the Keaton
funny.
thing is just going to be the cherry on the sundae if he even shows up.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I sent this to you a little while ago. Like 4 years ago, we did a video on a Batgirl script being written. And you said, I don't care as long as she's wearing purple and yellow. And sure enough, 4 years later, there she is wearing her purple and yellow. And I'm very, very excited. I'm overly excited for this movie, and it's probably to my detriment. But I think I got high hopes for it. Again, J.K. Simmons is apparently he's less a commissioner in this and more like a father in it. So it sounds like he's going to get a few decent scenes. Scotty, what do you make of Batgirl and the Keaton verse? How do you feel about that?
Feels weird because didn't Batman have a relationship with Batgirl, the Barbara Gordon, right? In one of the animated ones. I don't know. Anyway,
like a hubba kind of relationship.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure, wasn't it?
Like a hubba.
Yeah, the Killing Joke, right? Am I just making it up? Maybe I'm just making it up.
I don't know. I never read
Anyways,
that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
You guys should find the animated movie for The Killing Joke. It's really good. I like the cowl design of that costume. It looks deadly, like pointy, real pointy.
Yeah, she could headbutt somebody and really do some damage.
I'm excited for it. I wish they would stop delaying stuff, or, you know, at one of these DC events, do a layout of the universe and what the universe is going to really look like. I don't know. I think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot.
You have to have a plan for that, Scotty.
Yeah, well, I think that's the tough part with having like this crisis event is you can't really tell us anything without spoiling anything. So they can't do a layout of movies or a slate with dates, release dates. But they're like with Star Wars, I want the same thing, man. I need titles. I need some hype. They're not doing anything to market this stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Batgirl marketing is really just nowhere. It's just these set photos that go on Twitter. Like, why are you not getting people excited for your movies?
The leakers are getting people more hyped.
Yeah, and like, what's coming next for them? Is it Shazam?
No, Black Adam and Shazam.
Black Adam.
October, December.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Black Adam in it's Super Pets is the first.
Right.
Which is gonna kill.
It's Black Adam. Black Adam, Shazam, Aquaman, Flash, Batgirl in December, maybe. I'm gonna say maybe because it hasn't been delayed yet. But I can't, like you said, Andrew. Like Keaton's return to Batman should be theatrical, so you'd think that it would come after this. So that would make you think that Batgirl's going to come out in at least July, late June, early July.
Who knows at this point? Just give me the purple and yellow. That's all I ask for.
Steve, any thoughts on Michael Keaton's Batman debuting in Batgirl instead of the Flash?
Like you said, I think it deserves to be a big screen thing. It'd be like, what if we got the Penguin show before the Batman came out? You know, it'd probably be okay, probably be good, but it's better introducing him on the big screen. So I really don't know what they're going to do with this one.
No one does. No one does. You know what though? I don't know. There's something about this Batgirl movie that just it makes me think they're on the right track. And I don't know what it is, and I could be dead wrong, but there's something about it, the casting, the location, like where they're shooting. There's something about it that just feels like they have something to this. Now it could all fall apart. I don't know, but I think there's something there. And look, this movie, Scotty said it months ago, but this movie's going to lead into Gotham Knights because also on HBO Max, guys, we're getting Red Hood, Nightwing, and Gotham Knights. We're getting all of that also on HBO Max, and I love the idea that HBO Max that those characters in that world can live there, and that's going to be their thing. It's kind of, I mean, look, they're doing it on the CW already with the Arrowverse, and Arrowverse is getting its own Gotham Knights. So I like that they're going to have like this. It's kind of weird they're going to have both, and that's why they did the Crisis event on TV, but a theatrical version where you include TV and all that. That could be the biggest film. Well, it's Warner Brothers, so it won't be, but it could be the biggest film of all time if they do it right.
It could be their most important film if they do it right, for sure.
Yeah. I think the shows are going to parallel with like Titans and Doom Patrol, right? Are we kind of maybe think we're going to get a vibe like that for if they're going to do all of these shows like Red Hood and stuff? Maybe it won't be connected to those people, but
it won't because it'll be new. But yeah, it would be nice if it was in the same atmosphere.
Grittiness. Yeah.
Got it. Well, I mean, the CW is great because that's like your family-friendly fare, and HBO give it, you know, Peacemaker is something different, but give it for the adult, make this one for the big boys, you know. Do it like that. That's actually all right. Our final topic today. You guys ready for this one? For our final topic, do you guys like Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk? You guys fans of the Daredevil and Kingpin characters from the Marvel stuff? Because Marvel still does stuff. The best thing is this Echo show that like if people, I don't even want it. It's going to be the #1 watch show on Disney Plus for like a month.
Until the next one.
But there's a report. This is from Murphy's Multiverse that they've caught. They caught the resume of a costume designer, Stacey Caballero, who lists both Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio in costume for the show Echo on Disney Plus. Echo. Yeah, so their names are on there. So I guess, you know, resumes seem to be the new leak. I just did a video the other day on a leak for that, but resumes, don't put it on your CV. Wait, Kevin Feige will find you and never work on this time. It's like it's.
Didn't they get Tamora Morrison the same way with Mando?
I think they did, and they got Stacey Caballero is going to be on the unemployment line like the Spider-Man No Way Home VFX artist. They're like, get out of here. No, I'm just joking. She's got.
Well, the other one too is the foreign voice actors. That's another one.
Yeah,
they're up and coming.
They're pretty good too. Yeah, people like Hawkeye
Seriously.
on these things. You know, it's like they're like, and, you know, they catch it right away. But anyway, so look, I mean, I think we all knew Kingpin was going to be on the Echo show. I think that's not much of a spoiler. But Charlie Cox, Daredevil, we heard that he was coming back. We're getting a 4th season of Daredevil. Also, Disney or .com or Marvel.com, one of those .com places, they actually took his information like from No Way Home off of their webpage. So all information for it is off. People are freaking out about this. Like, what are they doing to Daredevil? And my thought is he doesn't know who Peter Parker is. So he has no connection to No Way Home at all. When No Way Home ends, like Matt Murdock has never met Peter Parker. So there shouldn't be any mention of No Way Home on his account. And I think that's very cheeky of them to do. So thank you on that. Steve, I'll start with you. You're a huge Echo fan.
Where do you get these from?
I just make you said Morbius was the movie of the year at one point.
Don't hold me to that.
Anyway, but I know I was with you in No Way Home, and when Charlie Cox hit the screen, you clapped. So talk about this a little bit with me.
That's true.
What's your excitement?
I think you're digging too deep. I don't think just because it was fitted for a costume doesn't say it's specifically a Daredevil costume. So I don't think we're gonna get the Daredevil Kingpin confrontation in Echo. There might be little seeds, little teases, but I think it's gonna be more Matt Murdock versus Daredevil in it. That's just my 2 cents, just my gut feeling. But like I said, we're digging really deep here, too deep for a casual guy like me.
Scotty?
I could be down with that, actually. If he's the lawyer character and it's like the sweaties are going to know that it's a Daredevil and maybe they're just waiting to have him put the suit back on. But Murphy, I mean, anything that comes from this guy, credible. Like, this is a huge website, Murphy's Multiverse. I'm excited, man. I told James behind the scenes, I was like, I bet Echo is going to wear some version of a Ronin suit. I think that's going to be part of the whole thing, is like, because in the end of the show, I believe it got destroyed or burnt, the suit, the actual suit, they got rid of it.
Yeah.
But I think there's multiple iterations of it. And I was surprised that she didn't do a flashback of her as Ronin in the other show. But I'm hyped.
Andrew, I gotta ask you a question first.
Fine.
Hawkeye burnt the Ronin suit at the end, right?
I can't remember.
It did.
Dang, I gotta look.
Yeah, okay. But earlier in the season, it gets burned into a house fire and survives. So how does he destroy it at the end, Andrew?
I mean, that last episode was just a wave of euphoria of seeing Kingpin. So everything else is just... There was only one thing I was focusing on, and it wasn't the suit Hawkeye was wearing. Like, it was, a rewatch has to happen before I can answer that. But I mean, you all know how I feel about the Kingpin, greatest comic book character in the world. Marvel could make a movie that's about just toilet paper price comparisons, and if Kingpin is in it, I will be the first in line to watch. In terms of Daredevil, I've honestly never really cared about Daredevil one way or the other. If he shows up, awesome. If he doesn't show up, I'm not going to be disappointed. To me, Kingpin is and always will be a Spider-Man villain, and that's where he belongs, fighting Spider-Man. Daredevil, you can get your own villains, be a big boy, and get your own bad guys. So I'm just waiting for the day when I can see D'Onofrio go toe-to-toe with Holland. But until that day comes, I will take all the Kingpin I can get. Just give it to me. Give me Echoes for days, but push me in that direction. Let me see those two on screen together, please.
Did you like Kingpin's Hawaiian shirt in the finale? Were you a big fan of that?
I did. It wouldn't have been my first choice to put him in that, but I liked it. And apparently it's comic accurate from something.
Yeah, that's like D'Onofrio's favorite Kingpin look, apparently. He wanted it.
It was fun. It really gave off, like, without him needing to say it, it told you, I know it's Christmas, but as soon as I finish what I'm doing, I'm going to skip town for warmer climates. So, like, it's so Kingpin. I love it.
Scott, are you looking forward to Echo?
Yeah, and I actually was just trying to look up stuff about the Ronin thing real quick, and I have a little blurb here that's kind of cool because it mentions stuff about Shang-Chi, actually. So Maya Lopez, the current Avenger known as Echo, originated the identity of Ronin while hunting down the Hand in Japan. So a master of hand-to-hand combat and former enforcer of the Kingpin, who was manipulated into fighting Daredevil after her father's assassination. So maybe the Kingpin's able to convince her that it was actually Daredevil somehow that killed her dad, maybe?
I like that.
The fact that they mentioned the Hand and that Shang-Chi's sister just took control of them and that they're probably going to ramp up their activities. I don't know. They could pull stuff from the comics and she could disguise herself again as Ronin. I just want her in the Ronin suit, man. I don't know. I think she's going to be a badass if she gets that.
And then
she was all about it in the show.
Yeah, she was really into that in the show.
And if the Hand, maybe the Hand isn't going to be a Shang-Chi thing. Maybe it will be a show. Maybe it can be a, maybe a post-credit, something to tie it in.
I'm drawing a blank. Was the Hand? I thought they were a Daredevil thing, and Shang-Chi's sister was leader of the 10 Rings, not the Hand.
Ooh, yes, you're right.
Well, Scotty,
Yes, that's right.
Scotty's.
I'm over
Steve,
2 today.
fucking-
You can. I was like, wait, I don't. That doesn't.
Yeah,
Scotty's
the
benched.
Legend of the Ten Rings. Hold on.
But the 10
Hold
rings
on, damn
can
it.
meet the hand.
There you go.
Then
Wait,
have all the-
Hold
10
No, no.
rings, 10 hand, or 10 fingers, right?
right?
This is actually what's happening. Deadpool
10 rings
3.
on the hand. Okay.
Deadpool 3 is being directed by Montreal's own Sean Levy, right? He
Uh-huh.
just did the Adam Project, right? Rumors are that he's going to bring the Hulk into Deadpool 3 with Mark Ruffalo from the Adam Project with also Ryan Reynolds, right? Who else was in that movie? Elektra. So I think we're bringing Elektra from the Daredevil, Ben Affleck Daredevil in. This is breaking news. I just made that up. I really.
And then here's what you do. Because wordplay is important, you get Elektra in there. You have her fight Electro. You bring back Jamie Foxx. The two of them fight, but it's not physical. They just play Trivial Pursuit together. And then they join the hand and they team up to fight the foot because the Ninja Turtles come in and cross over. You're welcome.
I'm all in. Do you know how much my mind was blown when I learned that Ninja Turtles were like a parody of Daredevil? Like, I just, my head exploded. I couldn't get on the foot, Splinter. I was like, what? Everything was just like the parallels. I said, and then, now that's, I think, common knowledge. But back in my day, back when I was young, that wasn't a thing. It was just blew my mind.
They're setting up the 10 rings to replace the hand. Done.
Well done.
All right, we're gonna end it on that note. Yeah, we're gonna put Scotty out of his misery today. All right, everybody, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Thank everybody for watching. Steve, do you want to plug anything like usual?
You can catch me on Twitter, Casual Pop Fan. Know a lot about a little and a little bit a lot. Go for it.
That sounds like a song. Scotty, where can everybody find you?
It's Hawks Holocrons on YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. I was very opinionated about my Morbius thoughts, and it's all on Twitter. And I don't feel ashamed about it, man. I really think that Marvel fumbled somehow here. Like, the fact that they're trying to build a connected whatever multiverse. I don't know. I feel like every failure is a failure on the whole thing, and it just bugs me that people targeted Sony. So. Anyways, you want to yell at me? You can come over to the YouTube channel.
He'll be live. Andrew, your book.
Yeah, Side Scroller, my book. Listen, if you talk to a doctor, they will tell you you need this to live. But don't panic. It's very easy to buy. You can just go on Amazon and buy it. You can buy an ebook if you prefer, or if you're a normal person and you like paper, you can buy a paperback. Either way, just you need it to live. That's what I was told.
I honestly, you know what? If somebody cut that and said it's not a book, it's actually cake, I wouldn't be surprised. Like that. Look at that thing. It looks.
That is a cake.
It is a cake. I'd be like, no, that's a cake. It's totally a cake. Also, you could go to his
what
YouTube
immersion
channel where
looks like, James.
Yeah. He just reviewed 250. Well, how many movies did you do this time?
33 movies in 11 minutes. And that's on my YouTube channel right now.
Visit him over at
That's
youtube.com.
awesome.
Andrew Fantasia. So Hot Holograms and Andrew Fantasia, and Steve's just here for it. Andy Gant is saying, why are people only blaming Sony? No Way Home fails. They didn't blame Sony for No Way Home. Disney gets all the praise for that, and maybe that's a topic for another day because we're out of here. Thank you, Andy. We'll use that. Scotty and I will do a video where it'll just be him ranting for 20 minutes on that.
Dude, I'm going to do a whole stream ranting about the Jared Leto.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, may you be the master of your own universe.